She was not Egyptian. She was not the beauty Hollywood painted her. She never seduced Julius Caesar with her looks alone. And she did not die from a snakebite, at least, not certainly. Almost everything you think you know about Cleopatra is a myth, carefully constructed by her enemies to destroy her legacy. Because the real Cleopatra was something far more dangerous than beautiful. She was brilliant. She was ruthless. She was the last and greatest ruler of ancient Egypt, and for a brief, extraordinary moment, she almost saved it. Cleopatra VII was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, Egypt, the most sophisticated city in the ancient world. But here is the first surprise. She was not Egyptian by blood. She was Macedonian Greek, a descendant of Ptolemy, one of Alexander the Great's generals, who had seized Egypt after Alexander's death. For 250 years before Cleopatra, every ruler of Egypt had refused to learn the Egyptian language. When her father died in 51 BC, Cleopatra was just 18 years old. She inherited the throne, but she had to share it with her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII, whom she was also expected to marry. This was Egyptian royal tradition, and it was as complicated as it sounds. Her brother's advisors and powerful men who had no intention of being ruled by a woman moved against her. Within 2 years, Cleopatra was driven out of Egypt, exiled, stripped of her crown, forced to flee into the desert with nothing but her ambition and her intelligence. But Cleopatra did not disappear quietly. She raised an army. She prepared to take back what was hers. And then Julius Caesar arrived in Egypt. What happened next became one of the most legendary moments in ancient history. Cleopatra had herself smuggled into the royal palace, rolled inside a carpet, or according to some accounts, a linen sack, and delivered directly to Caesar. She emerged before the most powerful man in the world, alone, uninvited, and completely in control of the situation. Caesar was 52, Cleopatra was 21. Within days, they were allies. Within weeks, they were lovers. And within months, Cleopatra was back on the throne of Egypt. But Cleopatra was not playing a love story. She was playing the most dangerous political game in the ancient world. Egypt was the wealthiest country on earth. Rome was the most powerful military force in history. And Cleopatra understood something that nobody else seemed to grasp, that Egypt could only survive by making itself indispensable to Rome. Her relationship with Caesar was not weakness, it was strategy. She gave him Egypt's grain, which fed the Roman army. He gave her political protection. Together they had a son, Caesarion, whom Cleopatra immediately declared the rightful heir to both Egypt and Rome. When Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, Cleopatra lost her protector. Rome descended into civil war, and once again, Cleopatra adapted. She identified the next likely winner, Mark Antony, and made her move. Their first meeting is one of the most theatrical moments in ancient history. Cleopatra sailed to meet Antony on a golden barge with purple sails, her crew dressed as sea nymphs, herself dressed as the goddess Aphrodite, with incense burning and musicians playing. The entire population of the city came to the waterfront to watch. Antony sat alone in the marketplace. Everyone had left to see her. She didn't go to him. She made him come to her. For over a decade, Cleopatra and Mark Antony ruled the Eastern Mediterranean together, building an empire within an empire. They had 3 children. They declared themselves gods, and they dreamed of a new world order centered not on Rome, but on Alexandria. Rome was not amused. Octavian, Caesar's adopted son and Antony's bitter rival, declared war, not on Antony, on Cleopatra. He understood that she was the real power behind the alliance. His propaganda machine painted her as a dangerous foreign temptress who had corrupted a Roman general and threatened the Republic. The decisive battle came at Actium in 31 B.C. Cleopatra and Antony's combined fleet faced Octavian's navy and lost. The reasons are still debated by historians. Some say betrayal, some say strategic error, some say Cleopatra deliberately withdrew her ships when she saw the battle was lost, to save Egypt's treasury for a future fight. Whatever the truth, the battle was over, and with it, the dream of an Egyptian empire. Antony, believing Cleopatra was already dead, fell on his own sword. He died in her arms. Cleopatra was captured by Octavian. He wanted to parade her through Rome in chains, the ultimate humiliation for the queen who had defied him. She refused to give him that satisfaction. On August 12th, 30 BC, Cleopatra VII, last pharaoh of Egypt, queen of kings, daughter of gods, died. She was 39 years old. The official story is that she died from the bite of an asp, a small Egyptian cobra, symbol of royalty and divine punishment. But modern historians are not convinced. Some believe she used a combination of poisons. Others think she had smuggled in a toxic mixture in her cosmetics. What we know is this: she chose her own death, on her own terms, dressed in her royal robes, because Cleopatra had never, not once in her entire life, let anyone else decide her fate. With Cleopatra's death, Egypt became a Roman province. 3,000 years of pharaonic civilization finally over. Octavian, who became Augustus Caesar, killed her son Caesarion, the last heir of both Caesar and Cleopatra. He understood that ideas are more dangerous than armies, and Cleopatra's idea that a woman could rule the world on her own terms was the most dangerous idea of all. 2,000 years later, we still cannot stop talking about her. That is the true measure of her power. Cleopatra was not a seductress. She was a strategist, not a victim, a visionary. She fought for her kingdom with every weapon available to her: her intelligence, her languages, her political genius, and yes, her charisma. She came closer than anyone to saving ancient Egypt from the Roman machine, and when she finally lost, she made sure the world would never forget her name. If this story moved you, subscribe, because next week we go inside the world of the Aztecs, the empire the Spanish destroyed, and the truth they tried to bury forever. You will not believe what we found. See you next week.